Hey, thanks for joining us here at Hanging Out with K Dubs podcast. Tell us how we're doing, or maybe be in a future podcast episode. Hit us up at hangingoutwithkdubs at gmail.com. Up next, the latest episode. Thanks for listening. Oh, yeah, beer break. We take beer breaks whenever we need to, bathroom breaks whenever we need to. So it's not that big a deal. Just, hey, I gotta go, or I'm empty. And we'll get you fired up on a new one. Not a big deal. So, Dan, good to have you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
How was your day?
A little wet and soggy, but made it through.
Yeah, I'm sure tiling and weather like this is not that much fun.
No, but at least, we're grateful for still working and bringing money in. So
That's a good thing. That's a good thing. Because most winters you're probably froze out by now.
yeah, the guy I work with, he tells me, you got to basically be shut. You figure on Thanksgiving. Anything after that's a bonus money that you make.
So were you guys shut down when it got really cold?
Just because of the cold and, the wind and snow, and then it drifted everywhere. So, we took a little time off, but then all that melted and
Back at her.
right back at her.
So when did you get back at it?
This week.
Oh, so you haven't been doing it for the last month and a half?
We have been on and off, basically, playing the weather and
Yeah, because you're going to have to do that.
yep.
It's no different than farming or snow plowing or anything like that. It's whatever the weather dictates.
Yep.
You just roll with it that way. You guys got a big tiling operation to do or a big tiling job up there or no?
Couple small ones we're trying to finish up. We got some big jobs lined up also.
Good. What's a big job for you guys?
Big job is
Days, weeks,
probably
acres?
2 weeks.
Okay.
And, anything over 60 acres would be a big job.
Okay.
So,
And I know you're the business you work for is, what's the name of that again?
Voltz's trenching and excavating.
Which the the tile company.
Yep.
Gotcha. And they got one plow?
They got 2 plows and a trencher and a bucket wheel machine.
Nice.
And, their dad started the business, and 2 brothers took it over, and they ran it. And, so there's years and years of knowledge that
You can learn from.
they laid clay tile.
Really?
That's how long they've been in the business.
So it's funny because the farm next door was all hand dug and clay tiled. My dad remembers, my dad grew up here, and he remembers coming home from work or from, helping other farmers out at the time or whatever. He'd be coming home and he'd be out there digging it by hand and putting clay tile down.
I couldn't imagine doing that.
Oh my God. That takes a lot of time, and you got to be a man to do that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's a friggin' shovel, and you're digging 3 feet down and putting clay tile in, and then covering it all back up again.
It's not only that, you're trying to hold grade and make the water drain the right way.
Exactly. I mean, he did that with no technology.
Yep.
Now, I don't know how well that's holding up. I'm just assuming that, this farm right here, it still has clay tile in it. So I got to imagine that he probably did a pretty decent job.
Oh, yeah. We've repaired a lot of clay tile that are still working really well. And, we're on other jobs that we're in there because the old system just ain't working anymore. The clay are collapsing. They're too shallow. So
That seems to be the most with clays. They're either collapsing because they're old or they're not deep enough, especially with the farm equipment nowadays.
Yeah.
They can deep rip at, 15 inches. Hell, a lot of them clay tiles were put in at 18 inches.
Yeah.
And after erosion and it moving up, it's just a matter of time at that point.
No, it's a great job, and there's always going to be that out there. Farm drainage and waterways that need to be cleaned or established, and drain tile that needs to be replaced, and
Repaired or added on, or do you guys do it then in grids? Like grid tiling is basically what you're doing?
yep, pattern tiling.
Gotcha. So for people that don't know that, explain what pattern tiling is.
Basically, you create a system out there, and you create a pattern, and you put a line in every 40, 50, 60 feet, whatever type of soil that needs on the spacing, and that's what you base it off of that, and you just go out there and make a big pattern.
It's cool as hell. Do you guys use technology then?
Oh yeah, we got our one plow. It's a early 80s machine, and it's got 2023 GPS on it, and that's what controls it.
That's perfect though.
That thing starts up, runs every day, no emissions.
Suck it, right? With the no emissions part.
You don't need a computer to plug into it to figure out what's wrong.
Yeah. Oh, it's not started. Well, let's check the fuel filter.
You know, the second machine, the blinker switch went bad, and that tractor wouldn't run because the blinker switch was bad.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? You're not fucking with me.
Nope.
Why would that happen?
I don't know, but it had something to do with something.
I never heard that one before. I mean, I've heard of blinker fluid, screwing it up, but blinker switch. Wow. So the technology that you're using, I'm assuming that can go sub-inch?
Yep, RTK. I mean, you're within a tenth of an inch.
The whole way through
Yep.
it. That's cool. That technology is hard to believe that we have. It really is. I mean, farmers are using that same thing to plant. They're within a sub-inch, and then the next year they can come back and be within a sub-inch again, year after year after year after year. And it's hard to believe that that's here.
Oh yeah.
You just got to wonder, what's next? What's the next 10, 15 years bring?
Well, look at 15, 18 years ago. I mean, I remember my old flip phone, and that was the best thing ever.
Did you have a Nextel?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
The big yellow one.
God, I miss those things. They were great. I mean, there was nothing more than just clicking down through your phone, finding the person you want, and cheep.
Beep, beep. Yep.
And when they didn't answer, you alerted them. Answer the damn phone.
No, those were pretty cool. I think they're trying to bring them back, aren't they?
I haven't heard that.
Might just be fake news on the internet.
Yeah, there's probably quite a bit of that out there. From what I understand, anyway. Well, according to Trump,
Yeah.
there's a lot of fake news. I think there's a lot of fake news anyway. It's the agenda. But, yeah, those Nextels were, I guess the military bought them.
Oh, really?
That's why they went kaput, because the military was like, this is brilliant, and stopped it to civilians and started using it themselves, which makes sense. I mean, my parents were on vacation. I can't tell you where. They were 3,000 miles away, and you just hit that button, cheep, went right through. It was just like using a cell phone or a walkie-talkie, but 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
They were awesome. I missed the hell out of them. They were simple.
But then smartphones came along. Now you can't live without them.
Well, there's some truth to that. How often do you ask Google to do something or to find information out?
Just about every day.
Yeah, every day. I use them every day. Like, oh, it's a good question. Let's ask Google.
Directions, anything.
Oh, man.
Weather.
is a big one.
Oh, yeah.
I think, especially in our industry, it's having different weather stations to see exactly what's happening is key. Well, for you guys, like now, you're putting in drain tile in January.
Yeah, end of January. No, I mean, inch and a half of frost out there right now, and we're
There's
going.
nothing out there.
No.
Now it's gonna get cold though.
Yeah.
Yeah. By the time this comes out, it'll be single digits.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be awesome. Not really. So do you go anywhere in the wintertime or anything like that lately, or no?
No, not really.
COVID world's kind of screwed all that up
Yeah.
too.
I tried to get down to Florida for a couple days after first of the year and just get somewhere warm for a little bit, but I don't
Get your mind off of stuff, and
I don't really need it this year. It's been 50 last week.
it seems like it. It's definitely a winter that I've never experienced, and I know we're only a year apart, I think, in age, but I don't remember one like this.
No. It's tough too, you get a family, kids, tough to get away.
Oh, absolutely.
But
Absolutely. What, so you have a really cool piece of equipment that we got to talk about because I've seen it in action and it's just fucking awesome. They call it a Jerraff, right?
yep.
Okay. Explain to us exactly what that is.
So it's a four-wheeled articulating machine. It's got a 24-inch saw blade on the end of it, and it telescopes out to 75 feet. And basically, you can trim up to a 12-inch branch, do a little undercut, little overcut, way to the branch will snap off. Trim back fence lines, farm fields, right-of-ways, clearing. It's got a fiberglass boom, so the main purpose of the machine is doing right-of-way clearing along power lines. A lot of pipelines use them, just keep the right-of-ways clear if they ever have to go in there and do maintenance.
Which makes total sense.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a cool machine. And the way that whole cab pivots is just so you can get that right angle on whatever tree branch that you're going to get. That is just so cool.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
It is just so cool.
It's fun to run. You know, you're sitting in there and you're tipping 45-degree angle each way. And
Is that what it is, 45?
Yep.
I didn't know what the exact angle was, but I didn't think it was 45.
It might be 40. It might be
Whatever.
exaggerated.
I mean, I was only thinking like 25.
No, 40 degrees each way.
That is so cool. Yeah, that's a cool machine. I mean, when you came out to the place that I work for and went down those roadways and cleared all them branches out to just straighten that ditch line out, man, you talk about just time savings.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were in and out of there before lunchtime.
Yeah,
Started in the morning. Lunchtime, we were done.
and that was about a half a mile
Yep.
of road on both sides that you did.
Correct.
Yeah, and you were done in 6 hours,
Yep.
5.5 hours. Totally beats a guy in a boom truck.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to be out there in this weather.
Hell no. It worked good too. You'd cut it down. I just had the loader push the stuff off in the ditch so you could keep going. And whenever we get back out there to chip it up or cut it up or whatever we need to do, that's what we'll do. But man, that worked. That's a slick machine. And like you said, you can do farm fields, roadways, ditches, anything else you think of?
Municipality
Oh, yeah.
roadways and
Duh. Yeah, I didn't think about that. I mean, I thought about that, but I didn't say it. Yeah, that's a hell of a machine. That's a pretty cool machine.
even your home. I mean, but it's going to cost you to haul that thing in here. Might not be feasible.
Get a guy to climb it, right?
Yep.
And he's probably cheaper anyway. Well, I mean, not that you're not expensive by no means. You know, when you think if you're going to do a whole field or a half a mile of road, whatever, you are very reasonable
Oh, yeah.
compared to getting anything else out there to handle that job.
I can go around a 40-acre field if it's solid trees all the way around it, and I clear back, about 10 feet. That's 1.2 acres around a 40-acre field.
That's quite a bit
You know,
that farmers are missing.
yeah, you're not getting the greatest yield on those outside 6 rows, but
You can still farm the 6 rows.
yep, keep those weeds trimmed back or worked back, and maybe the rows that aren't doing good now, those will do better, and then you can put 6 more rows out there.
You're right.
And that 1.2 acres will pay for itself in the first year.
Exactly. Because I'm about to say, how long does it take you to do a square 40-acre field if you were to do that? Give or take. I know.
It all depends, but I can do that in about a day.
Yeah. So that them 6 rows will more than pay for themselves.
Oh, yeah.
That 1.3 acres or whatever you said. Where does that rig come from?
It's actually, they make those in St. Peter, Minnesota. And I found this one in Michigan. And they're more southern from where we're at. They're not in our area a whole lot. But they're more southern, and then there's crews that travel over and all around, and they do right-of-way clearing with them. But I thought it was a great idea that, we get one locally and see what it can do.
Absolutely, because you've been quite a few places with that already.
I see the potential for it. You know, I see all these overgrown roadways, especially, you know, and I help out a farmer part-time, and, you know, I drive his equipment and the combines and the planter tractor. You know, what's a mere cost on one of these new tractors nowadays?
Yeah, you're right, because I think they're heated now. They're heated mirrors. They're definitely adjustable. Yeah, they're probably $500 for a heated mirror on one of them bad boys.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean,
People are scared to stay away. Next thing you know, these fence lines are just creeping out, and before you know it, you're losing your acreage.
and that's why you're there.
Yeah.
You just give Dan a call, and he'll come out and trim that shit back. No, yeah, when I seen that the first time, I was like, I want one. Those are so cool.
I seen one a few years back on Craigslist.
Is that what made you think of this?
No, but I seen it, and now I have one. I thought it was so cool then.
The good old Craigslist.
Is that thing still out
I
there?
have no idea. I haven't been on Craigslist in years. I use Facebook Marketplace or Tractor House or whatever, but OfferUp is one of those apps on your phone that people can sell stuff on. But Craigslist. I would assume it's still a thing.
I'm new to the whole Facebook thing. That's maybe 2 years I've been on it now.
But see, you don't have a ton of stuff on there, but you're working at it.
Yeah.
You're getting it. That's good for you, though, to get out in society. No, I'm just fucking with you. Yeah, the Facebook is it can be highly addicting at times.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you found that out yet or not, but
Unfortunately.
it's also good to keep up with people you haven't seen for a while. See what their life's about. See what they're doing. I don't know. It's
Is that called Facebook stalking?
no, I don't think it's stalking. But I've got people that I'm involved with there that I haven't seen since high school,
Yeah.
and it's fun to see what their journey's taken, how their journey's taken them
Where
through
they're
life.
at now.
Yeah, because you think back to high school or even college or whatever, and you think about that person's gonna go somewhere, and then they don't,
That's been a long time.
or the other way.
Yeah.
That person ain't going nowhere, and they're like, God, they're really doing well for themselves. You know, it's just entertaining sometimes.
But I graduated 18 years ago already. You know, it don't seem like that long, and
Time friggin' flies.
40 ain't too far away.
Shh. I'm not ready for that yet. We'll see if we make it to 50.
Just had my 10-year wedding anniversary last year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting. How did you two meet?
High school.
No kidding.
Yep.
High school sweethearts, huh?
We were friends through high school, and she didn't want to date me. She went off to college. Didn't want a long-distance relationship.
That's funny.
But I never gave up.
Attaboy.
Now
Persistence.
Now we've been married 10 years and 4 kids later,
4 kids.
and she still puts up with me.
She must be a saint. No.
She don't know where I'm at tonight.
Does she need to know?
Well,
She'll find out soon, right?
yep.
4 kids, huh? Good for you. That's great. Boys, girls?
3 boys, 1 girl. They're all about a year apart. 9, 7, 5, and 3. Great. You know, they're getting to the age where they're super fun, playing.
They're coming up with their own identity.
Oh, yeah. Can get a little hectic at times, though.
With 4 of them, I can imagine. I'm not a dad or a father, but I can imagine with 4 of them, it's probably tough to keep them all in line sometimes.
I enjoy it.
Well, there's always the pros for it, for having kids.
tax credits.
Thank you, Uncle Sam. That's the only reason you're here. It's tax credits.
No, but they, they all have their own personality, and it's
Absolutely.
so, some of them are sweet and some of them are,
Sour.
oh yeah.
That's okay. It's life. That we're all not the same. Thank God. Could you imagine how boring that would be if we were all the same? Yeah, boring shit. That wouldn't be fun at all. Do I care about the murders and all that stuff? Not really. But as far as the personalities go, I'm glad there's different personalities, different points of views, different jobs. I think it's a great thing. And you're seeing that probably 4 different personalities and 4 different kids.
Oh yeah.
And you can put your own tweak to it now. Or the wife can put her own tweak or both or whatever. That's exciting. Push. It is a sweet sound sometimes. So, did you go to college?
I did not.
Okay, so I didn't either. I mean, I went to college for a very, very short period of time. I went to other colleges to party, but to go get an education, I didn't go. What'd you do in high school? 'Cause, I mean, we've known each other since back then. I don't think I knew what you did, how you did it. I mean, we were acquaintances. We had some beverages with each other when we were younger, but as far as your journey went,
Right out of high school, I enjoyed working and worked with a buddy doing diesel mechanic. So I worked on semis. They helped me get my CDL, drove truck part-time when they needed a fill-in, and I worked there for about 5 years. And then I went back to the family farm, worked with my brother and my dad and my grandpa, and that lasted about 5 years. And
yeah, that can be tough.
And then that's about all it lasted with the family. So then after that, I went on my own, went to find something else. Then I was maintenance in a big poultry farm. I did a lot of motor rebuilding, basically anything and everything.
They called, you needed it.
Yep.
They needed you.
Electrical, plumbing, anything I could do. So
That kept you busy, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then I was there till about 2 years ago, and I left there and got into drainage and excavating, and now I'm trying to start up my own business and use this Jerraff, trim, tree lines in the wintertime, kind of fill the void. Like I said, you plan on working till November, and then the dirt's going to be frozen, so you can't.
Plan B.
Yep. Plan B's trimming trees once the ground's froze. Stay busy through the winter.
Because the drainage place that you work for also excavating too, right?
Yep.
So that keeps you busy the rest of the time that you're not using the Jerraff.
Yep.
That's good. You're working on starting your own business, and you still got some structure, income
Yeah.
from not just throwing it all out there on your own, and you're building.
Yep.
And I think we need more of that in America.
And they're very great people. They're willing to help me. They're patient. Teaching me along the way and showing me the.
Yeah, because I'm sure you didn't just sign up and you were able to run a dozer and an excavator and a drainage plow and
It took a little.
I'm sure it was like, maybe help a brother out.
Little trial and error. We've made a couple of mistakes, but you learn from them.
That's part of doing it too. You're not just going to jump in and I know exactly what I'm doing all the time. Like you said before, that there's a ton of knowledge there just on drainage tile.
Oh yeah.
But there's also a ton of knowledge there on everything else.
Yep.
So I'm assuming you're learning a lot from them.
Oh yeah. Every day learning something new.
That's a good thing. Well, you can hopefully take that to when your business takes off even more. Hopefully you can take a lot of that and move it into yours.
Yep.
and then hopefully go from there and build off of that. So are you wanting to, I know we're talking in the future here, and that's a long way away, but I'm assuming you want to do more than just the giraffe, right?
Oh, yeah. I want it all. Don't we all? No,
Come on, lottery, Powerball.
No, but, the guys I'm working with, they're great people. They're teaching me everything they know, and, but they're getting older. So, the new generations need to learn it. And the problem is all the kids getting out of high school nowadays, they want to sit on a computer. They don't want to be out there working.
You're true on that.
So
the funny thing is I think us farm kids grew up very different than the rest of our generation because we had responsibilities when we were kids, whether that was animals at the fair or learning to drive tractors on your own at a young age, learning to drive at a young age. I remember my dad was farming somewhere and there was nobody else around. They had CBs back then. And he'd come over to CB, "Hey, Kyle, you home?" Of course I'm home. Freaking 12. Where else am I going to be? So, yeah, Dad, go ahead. I'm going to ask you to do something, but you can't tell your mother, and it stays between us. Okay? I need you to jump in the truck, sit up high, put your seatbelt on, and come pick me up. I was freaking 12. But you learned.
Yep.
And you're right. I don't have kids. You do. And they're 9, 10, like you said. But I even think the 18 to 30s, if they go out to get a college education to work, but they really don't know what work is.
No.
In my opinion. Because, I know when I was a kid, I pitch shit, ground feed, whatever else that we need to do. And I was preteen.
I took animals to the fair, but other than that, we didn't really have cattle. But I did a lot of hay. A lot of hay mows, 5 hay mows that we filled. That's not fun.
Is it though? Are you ready to do it again?
Oh, no.
Hell no. Oh, yeah, we did that a lot. We got a local dairy farmer that my brother worked for, I worked for, my younger brother worked for, and it was the same thing. When we could pick up a hay bale. You go work for them. Or we're going to do a bunch of straw after wheat. We're going to put up a bunch of straw bales. You're up in the mow. That's tough work.
Oh, yeah.
That's why you don't see a lot of small squares anymore around here. You really don't.
No.
A lot of rounds, a lot of big squares. Very few small square bales around here anymore. It's hard to find help.
A lot of them small farmers are dying too, aren't they? Not dying, but
No, yeah.
Can't make it.
Times have changed. I think 30 years ago, there was the farmers that would farm what they owned, and if that piece of ground was for rent right next door, I'll rent it. Other than that, 400 or 500 acre farms. In today's world, I think the average farm, I have to look it up, but I think it's like 3,500 acres in Illinois.
Wow.
That's the average. So if you're smaller than that, that's tough for you. Just for the simple fact of you don't get the discounts that these bigger farms get because they're buying more in bulk. And equipment's getting way more expensive. You know that. You just bought a Jerraff.
Oh, yeah.
This shit's getting expensive. It's hard for these guys to keep up. But they have to keep doing better if they want to stay in business, in my opinion. No?
Yeah, I agree.
Well, it's no different than guys in your line of business, too. They got to continue to keep up with the technology. Like you said, you got a 1980-something tile plow, but you got brand new technology on it.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Gotta keep up on the times. Can't be using lasers anymore.
And so you're perfect. Because if you're not perfect, somebody else will be. So you can use that old technology on the plow, but as far as the sub-inch accuracy and everything else, you need to have that today. It costs too much money to be wrong.
Yep.
Because what is it now? Is it like $1,000 an acre to grid tile?
It's about $1,300. About $1,300 an acre. But what's land going for right now? 12 to 14,000 an acre.
Yeah, I would think you're in the ballpark.
So, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of money, but you can either make the land you got better, or go out and spend $14,000 an acre.
You know, there's some truth to that.
Which also needs tile.
There's some truth to that. We see a lot of these farmers that want to continue to get bigger. Well, I'm not the kind of guy to spend $14,000 an acre on a piece of ground. So why don't I spend $1,300 an acre and make my ground better?
Exactly.
And not only is that going to make my ground better, it's also going to make it worth more. So theoretically, you tile that ground. If it's not tiled, you tile it. You're going to get better yields from day one that it's put in, and it's only going to continue to reimburse you year and year and year after that.
You can also trim back the fence lines.
That too.
Or just tear them right out.
There's been a lot of that around here.
Oh, yeah.
You see a lot of that too?
Oh, yeah. But what if the neighbor doesn't want it?
I don't know how all that works. Do you?
Sometimes neighbors aren't very friendly, and they don't want their side touched.
So what do you do? If that happens, and I'm talking to Dan, I want to clear my fence line out. Neighbor doesn't want his touched.
We trim it back. We don't tear it out, we just trim it back.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right way. I think that's probably the right thought process on that. I really do.
So
go ahead.
So I've been watching your other podcasts.
Yes. Good. Thank you.
Am I the first guy without a beard?
It's very plausible. I got to think back now. Yeah. I think you're the first guy without a beard. Yeah. I think so. Well, look at that. You're a first. Thanks.
Well, I wish I could have a beard.
Can't grow one.
No, it's
Spotty as hell.
terrible.
I mean, it is a gift and a curse.
Yeah.
It's okay. I won't shame you for not having one.
No.
So, what made you want to come on? Got him. Got he. Something to do? Something different?
Yeah, I suppose.
I don't. Up until Jacob was on my podcast, I didn't know he did it, but up until then, he's the only one that I know that does. So I was like, one day, like, screw it. I'm going to do a podcast. I don't know anybody that does it, and I know people have stories to tell, and people have interesting things to talk about. Figure what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why not? And I get to re-meet cool people to come over and hang out and enjoy some beverages and
Yeah, like whatever happened, back in the day, hanging out at the pond.
yeah.
We lost touch for so many years, and
That's
you talk to the old gang much, or
very rarely, I think. It just growing up happens. You said it. Married, 4 kids. I'm not married, no kids, but we all have our jobs that we got to go to. We all tend to get wrapped up in what we're doing and maybe don't reach out as much to the old gang.
yeah,
But yeah, it's growing up has got its cons too, right? Because it was a good time whenever we'd come up your way, and get, the fibs down here together with the Wisconsinites and have keg races and all that kind of stuff. I remember, but
Had zip lines in the barn and
I don't remember that one. You guys did that?
yeah,
Whose barn?
Wizawadi's.
Really? How the hell did you do that?
It wasn't safe.
There's a lot of things we did back then that wasn't safe. But how'd you do that?
I don't think it lasted very long. Bonfires at the campsite. Bonfires down at the pond.
Yep. All those good times. The good thing is we'll always have them.
Yeah.
And for you, you know what to expect with your kids.
Yep.
Like, going over to Sammy's house, huh? What are you guys doing over there? Having a bonfire?
Time's coming.
Because you've been there and done that.
Yeah. I know what they're really doing.
They're getting drunk in a cornfield. Or maybe around a fire. Who knows?
Yeah. Sleeping in the back of trucks. You ever done that?
Mm-hmm. Slept in the front of trucks?
Oh, yeah.
We went to the first and only time I had ever went to Country Thunder. And we had it set. We bought our campsite, bought our tickets, set up our tent. Life is going to be good. First night, some jackass comes over, drunk as shit, breaks our tent. The next night, we got 4 inches of rain. That night. Yeah, we slept in trucks.
Always rains during Country Thunder.
Yeah? What'd you do over there?
No, it always rains.
Oh, yeah. It always rains during Country Thunder. I just wasn't expecting 4 inches. Like, the good thing about that is if our tent was in good shape, we would have been sleeping in water that night. So that guy breaking that tent and made us sleep in the trucks
Did you a favor.
did us a favor. You ever been?
To Country Thunder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still go?
I went last year for the first time in probably 12 years.
Who'd you see? Or did you go all 4 days?
No,
or just
one day. Went to see Morgan Wallen. It's a pretty good show.
Yeah, he's really climbing the charts, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a good artist. He's got a lot of good got a lot of good singles out there. It's really good that he came back with his whole deal that happened. I mean, he wasn't trying to offend anybody when he said that. He was just making fun of his friend or calling his friend that because it was his close friend.
What happened? I didn't hear that.
Oh, you didn't hear about that
No.
whole situation? Yeah, he, I don't know, this is probably 2.5 years ago. Came home from the bar really early in the morning, so drunk, and he called his white buddy the N-word, and somebody got it on video, and they tried shunning him out of Dodge.
Really?
His album went platinum that year because all the fans were standing behind him like, look, he wasn't in a fight. He wasn't trying to do anything disrespectful. That's what him and his friends call each other. And they tried throwing the books at him. So fast forward to today, and he's a top country artist, and he's really come back from that. Right, wrong, or otherwise, he did.
Makes some pretty good music.
Yeah, I think so.
Some people don't like him, but
He's got a unique voice,
yeah.
I think. It's just different. It's not, like the way the twangy type of voice. It's just unique. That's him. So, and then he's got good songs, too.
yeah.
I'm a big Eric Church fan. Have been for a long time. I've seen that fucker more than a lot of people have. Been to a lot of his concerts. Drove to Tennessee last year to see him.
Wow. It's dedication.
Dedicated. He puts on a hell of a concert. And he's got great music. I mean, his first album came out when we were getting out of high school. No, maybe before that. 2005, 2006, something like that. It was his first album that came out, and that was a great album. Hooked.
Yeah.
Are you straight country music?
I like to listen to classic rock once in a while just to mix it up. You know, hear something different once in a while.
A good classic rock station. My guys at work listen to it religiously every day. So I don't like it.
Is it The Drive?
96.7, 96.9.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that one. Like, I liked it when I first started there, but they do play a lot of the same music over and over and over.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, give me 94.1 or 104.9 or whatever, something different. Just because those play newer country or new rock stock compared to classic rock.
Yeah.
And I like newer rock music.
I like a variety. You know, you get sick of the country, but change
Some
it
of
up
it's
a little.
country.
Yeah.
Just saying. It's not country like it was 15 years ago.
No.
It's got a little more pop to it.
John Deere Red. Or no, John Deere Green.
There you go.
Water tower or something in there too.
Oh, yeah. John Deere.
Joe Diffie.
Joe Diffie. Yeah. It was John Deere Green.
What's the rest of the lyrics?
Oh, boy. You're going to make me think about this when I don't have my mindset on music. I love music. I listen to it daily. But once music gets old, podcasts. I switch to podcasts. I don't care what it's about. Football, baseball, Joe Rogan, whatever. Switch it over. And then once that gets old, back to music. You listen to a lot of podcasts?
Getting into them. Couldn't watch them on your Nextel though, could you?
Say it again?
You couldn't watch them on your Nextel though, could you?
No, you sure couldn't. The smartphones are nice for that reason. Yeah, I tend to, when we're out like snow plowing or something, I'll start with music or I'll start with a podcast and then flip back. Something different. And I like to learn. I like to learn new stuff. So podcasts, in my opinion, are the way to do that.
Passes the time quickly.
It does. Because especially if you're into it. Because if you're into it, then that time goes by way quicker than you think. All of a sudden you're like, oh, that was a 2-hour podcast. Holy shit. It's over with already.
Yeah.
Or the other way around that. Man, this has got to be close to being done. It's only been 37 minutes. All right, I'm switching to music.
It's like, what were they talking about?
Some of that stuff can get way over my head, too. That's the way it goes. So, I understand where they're coming from. I understand why the things that happen the way they happened. I get it. I can't be there every day. It's not fair to them because they're there every day. But on the other hand, the farm doesn't pay my bills. So you gotta try to balance that line. I've been balancing that line for years, and it was time to make a decision. And I love farming, but there's just not enough there to pay the bills and do everything else that needs to be done. So,
Well, I hear exactly where you're coming from because I'm the same thing I went through. You know, I love doing the farming thing and just didn't work out. You know, it's tough working with a family.
it is. Because the way I look at it, too, is something that a lot of people don't understand. When you're working with family, it doesn't matter if it's a farming operation, a business, a company, whatever, you can have a hell of an argument during the day. And then all of a sudden it's, oh, we got little Johnny's birthday party this afternoon. So you all go to little Johnny's birthday party. Where do you think your mind's at? It's not on little Johnny's birthday party. It's on that big argument you had this afternoon about the business. That makes it really tough. Because you still got to put a face on. You still got to smile. Oh, everything's good. Yeah, life's good. Rock on. When we all know, deep down inside, you're like, motherfucker. God damn it, I was right.
Yeah, I don't want to be here.
Exactly. And I'll be blunt. Before all this even happened, there was a ton going on in my mind. And I didn't have anybody to express that to. You got a wife, you get kids, so you can bring your wife aside and say, hey, I gotta get shit off my chest. I didn't have that. I mean, my girlfriend's been phenomenal through this whole thing. She's been really awesome. I'm not taking anything away from her. But I wanted to talk to somebody that had no idea who I am, no idea who they are, just professional help. So, I looked up a counselor, went and talked to them, and they have been phenomenal.
Really?
Really. It's really helped me. It really has. Yeah, they definitely tell you, hey, Kyle, you crossed the line when you said that, or when you did that, or whatever. Thanks, appreciate that.
You're supposed to be on my side here.
That's what I tell them all the time. And then there's other times where like, hey, you're right. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, she's hearing it from my point of view, not from yours, not from anybody else's. So from my point of view, but there is some comfort there. There's some help there. And I have no problem nowadays telling people that if you're in your own head, make a phone call. Go find somebody you can talk to. Whether it helps, it should help because you're getting it off your chest. It should.
Yeah.
And she really did phenomenal for me. I don't have any regrets. I don't have any problem telling people out there of what I did because it's really helped me. And this was before even kind of all that whole situation happened. I was just in my head, need to get out of it. She was great. Still is. It's just something out there that maybe people can understand where you and I have come from, where we're coming from, and maybe reaching out won't hurt. I mean, how'd you deal with it?
Talk to my wife.
See, I was right.
And you know what? She was very supportive, and anything, she was with me the whole time. I'm so grateful for that. So.
Sounds like you are. Better take her out to Red Lobster or something, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know what she likes. I'm just assuming. And that's the good thing about having a partner like that. Like I said, my girlfriend's been a rock for me. There's no doubt about that. But it is nice to get somebody else's opinion that doesn't know you, your wife, your kids, your family, your friends. And if they do, they're not going to tell you. But they're still going to give you the professional advice from your point of view.
Yeah.
Obviously. It'd be awful interesting if you sat everybody down in a room and be like, all right, be the judge. I don't think that would work well.
No.
It'd be funny as hell, though. I kind of like to see that. Jerry Springer. Go, 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 go. So do your bosses kind of give you free range?
We work really well together. We bounce ideas off each other and, work side by side. So he asked me my opinion, I ask his opinion, and we do whatever we think we should. So.
Do you guys ever divide and conquer?
Kinda once in a while. a lot of the stuff we do, you need two people to do. So it's usually, the two of us side by side.
Yeah, in today's world, it's tough to do things by yourself, especially in a operation like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially the tiling part. Yeah, there's really no one guy doing that.
We need about 4 to 5 guys.
There's what, 2 of you?
Yep.
So how does that work? One guy's in the plow, and then one guy's running tile, or one guy's putting connections at the end, or
One guy's in the excavator digging starts, and then you got a guy in the stringer stringing tile out, and then you got a guy in the plow.
I thought you said there was only 2 of you.
Well, if you had a 4, if you had 4. Well, we're doing a 4-person job with 2 people, so.
But I'm like, so you got one guy so you start it, one guy running,
Yep.
and then one guy stringing tile out the whole time?
Well, we stay side by side, basically.
okay.
We got the stringer cart, so we don't lay the tile on the ground. We drive the stringer cart right next to the tile plow. Basically, kind of like unloading on the go with a combine into a grain cart, but we're doing it the opposite, where we're unloading the pipe into the plow to put it back in the ground. Kind of the same thing. You drive side by
It
side.
is. Yeah, it works. Yeah, with tiling, I've seen it done quite a few times, and there's never enough help.
No.
Never enough help.
Satisfying, though, seeing the water run.
It is. Yeah, when you walk over to that tile and there's water running out of it, and you're done. You just got done laying it,
Yeah.
and it's still running out. It's like, okay, I get it. I understand.
Yeah, it's a nice satisfaction, and that's what I like, being able to see what you do at the end of the day, and you're like, you stand back and you look, and it's like
Progress.
Yeah.
Do you guys have part-time help?
Yeah, we got a little bit of part-time help.
Are you looking for full-time help?
Could use one guy full-time.
Hear that? Want to work hard? Give Dan a call.
We'll train the right person.
Preferably young and dumb. No. Just kidding. But seriously. That guy's got the shovel, right?
Yeah. Now we got some, couple retired guys that help, but it's not that often. A couple hours here and there.
Well, I'm sure when you need it
Yeah.
and when they're available.
Yeah.
That's the good thing about some of these old-time farmers that are retired. Give them a call. They'll come work for you. Like, I enjoy doing that. All right, I'll come help you.
You want a little
I
side money?
didn't even tell you we were getting paid. Doesn't matter. I'll come help you. We got a guy when I was at the farm, and he's an old retired farmer and great guy. Knows how to run equipment. You teach him how to run it your way, he's got it. Turn him loose. Did a wonderful job.
Yeah.
Wonderful job. They don't come like that very often.
No, it takes a lot of skill, but like we were talking technology, even that's getting on all the excavating equipment now. So basically anybody could run the newer stuff.
So how does that work with like the dozers? Do you have technology on the dozers
We don't have it
for grade?
Well, we have laser on there.
Okay.
So, but you got to manually run it. But the newer systems actually have it all GPS, where you hit a button and you basically just sit in there. It does everything for you.
I got a friend of mine that works for Caterpillar, and he can remote control a Caterpillar. When they were in Peoria, he could remote control a Caterpillar at a garbage dump in New York
Wow.
and run it.
Gotta be a safety issue, isn't it?
No.
No?
They got
Cameras?
all that shit hammered out.
Like a Tesla?
Come on, Elon, get your shit straight. I mean, Tesla's a funny one, right? Because I believe we are going to be battery-operated vehicles moving forward to the future. I don't like it, but I believe that that's what's going to happen. I believe it's going to be forced upon us. We're just going to have to do that. Now, excavating, farm equipment, that's probably all going to be separate. But as far as cars, trucks, I think it's going to happen. Tesla's got to jump on everybody else. Think about it. They've been doing this for 10 years. They're going to know what's going to work, what's not going to work, how to make it work, what's the right way to do it. He's not all wrong. I'm just saying, he's not all wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I like my gas V8 Chevy sitting out there. I like that, all right? I know you got a diesel V8 Chevy sitting out there, but we're going to come forced to a time. I'm hoping it's not in our generation, but I think it's going to be. He's got a leg up.
Yeah.
We better wrap this up. Dan, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime, bud. You come on back anytime.